Hey guys, it's Ellen here, and it's Monday, so that's Mini Monday Madness time. We're doing a super duper easy fall grass landscape. So easy. 2 brushes, simple wet and wet technique. I give you a reference photo on here that we kind of use, but we don't actually follow to the T. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comment section. Also, please hit the bell notification button to know my tutorial's up. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. So yeah, we're having like a rainy day here, and I thought it'd be fun just to do something simple and easy. Also, check out my Patreon. I have ad-free videos, traceables, exclusive tutorials on Thursdays, and a live stream once a month on the top tier, as well as a download for me. You can check it out up here. Boop. It's a place people go and support my channel, which I appreciate you guys so much. So without further ado, let's get painting. Okay guys, let's go over supplies. I have two 3-inch squares from Arch, 100% cotton cold press. I taped it down with washi tape because I ran out of my Scotch tape, which I'm not happy about. Today was supposed to be a Bones Day, supposedly according to Noodles, but I don't believe it. And if you don't know what that means, probably not on TikTok, because everything's gone wrong this morning. I have a reference for you guys. I'm not going to follow this to the T. I don't know if I'm going to be doing a blue sky. I might do a more of a yellow, beigey kind of sky, make it all like brown tones. You could follow the blue sky. I'm just giving you a reference for like wheat, you know, how it looks. We're not necessarily going to paint exactly like this. It's just an idea. And that's in the description box. Everybody, I'm trying to tell you how to do the description box. You see the words show more after the description, like the beginning description of the video. You hit those words with your little cursor, and the whole box drops down, and all the supplies, all the description, all links to everything are all right there. And that goes true for anybody on Patreon. Also, same thing. Okay, so let's just start. Okay, so I have my paper towel, my paints. I have them. I talk about what I have in the description box. Water jars. I'll be working with Princeton 8 and 4 long round today. It's just a small little, you know, size of paper. So, see here we have like, it's like kind of like a quarter down. You can kind of visualize it being quarter down. You can make it further down if you want to. I'm going to do like a quarter down like they have here. Just draw like a pencil mark if you have to. And I have them taped pretty close together because it's going to be like, there'll be 2 different paintings, but they can be like one kind of painting in itself. So it's a diptych, you know, not a triptych, 2, dip. I have a little paper towel curled up in a little teeny ball. So if you want to do that ahead of time, do that. You can always just rip it. So let's work with some burnt umber. We have some yellow and some new. People ask me, what's neutral tint? It's an actual color. Neutral tint. W357 from Holbein. Yep. It's a color. It's not like I'm making a neutral tint. It's an actual color. Okay. So I'm watering down some burnt umber. I'm going to water down some neutral tint. Yes, neutral tint. And you combine the two. One here. I know I'm crazy. It's Monday. And it's raining here today. And you get this nice deep brown. And then we're going to, sorry, I'm clanking. Cadmium yellow deep. And some of that burnt umber. Like a mustardy yellow. I'll add a little neutral tint. I don't like it so bright like that. Let's get out some cadmium yellow deep here. Add a little magenta. We need a little bit of orange also. Orange tones. Add a little neutral tint. So it just changes the color. Got all these little browns going here. I'll put that here. Neutral tint. Add some more water. Now before you begin, if you want to test out, like I have little teeny scraps all over the place, all over here. Let me see if I can find one. That is, before you start to paint, let me see if you like the colors, you know. What you want for the background sky. You want like a light yellowish, beigey color. Do you like that? Or do you like the brown color tone? more or less that color. We're going to be doing deeper browns in here and lighter oranges and yellows going in here. Okay, so let's play around. I like this yellow, but I like the neutral tint one up here too. So I'm going to mix the combination of these two. This yellow up here and this brown. Let's see what we got up here. Okay, and I water that down. Put a lot of water in it. And that's going to be our first swipe. 3/4 of the way up. And put some more water here. It's going to dry lighter too, by the way. So I'm going across, as you can see. Now if you want to add a little bit more yellow, go ahead and do that. If you want to see a little brighter. I'm going to take some of this deeper brown, put it down here. Here. A little more burnt umber, like less, again, less water. So I've got the concentrated brown and the burnt umber here. A little dark. That should bleed a little bit. Let me zoom in so you can see. See how it's bleeding a little bit? I'm gonna clean off my brush. I'll lift up some of this paint. And then I'm going to take the brush. See, I lifted some of it up. I'm going to kind of push it around. Lifted some of it up. Push it around. I want to soften it up. Right? See how it's softening here? And then for your little tissue, you want to make like a little, see how there's a little white, it's a bokeh kind of look. You just grab the tissue in a circular fashion. See, little round white spots. Just going like that. Just squint your eye. Okay, I digress. Gonna go back in and add some those deeper browns again. The little neutral tint, which is kind of like a black. So now that this is dry, I'm going to go back in and add it again. Just on the edges here. And now I'm going to water this down a bit. Maybe add some of the neutral, the burnt umber. Watering it down, tapping paper towel, going across. See that? Going across and grabbing that paint. Maybe I grab some more water. Grab some more of that orangey brown. Grabbing that orangey brown. Now we're going to grab the yellow also that we have here. Don't worry, it's going to dry later. Right? If it looks too dark, if you want to lift some paint up, lift it up, tap it on the paper towel like I'm doing here. Lift, brush, number 8 Princeton, by the way. Tap it. Okay. Now we're going to go back in and we're going to start. See, there's orangey color here. If you want to put a little more orange in it, you can. I added some brilliant orange to it. I'm going to be blending this color. So it's got some orange and some browns. Cross seams, wet on dry. And then we're going to be adding in little See, I got the neutral tint color with the brown. Just kind of tapping it here and there. We're gonna kind of make it look like this, but not really. So I'm just taking this orange colors, yellow colors, and you're gonna be tapping in some brown colors. Just mixing this across. Now you see this is really light back here. If you want to keep it that way, you can lift up some more paint either by your brush or by a paper towel. And if you want to keep it really light, like right in the center here. See how I'm doing that? Just tapping that. Same thing here. Like this part is much lighter. And I'm going to go and add some more yellow. So this part is pretty wet down here. And you can just take your brush. See, I'm just grabbing the concentrated burnt umber and maybe a little bit of neutral tint. And you can see how you got these dark little areas in here. You just kind of like take your brush, go like this. Wisp up some, and I'm going to grab some lighter yellow too and tap it on my paper towel. Or orange. See, I'm just tapping, wisping up, tapping. Don't do it everywhere. You don't want to bleed dark colors everywhere. Some of it will stay if it's really concentrated. You see how that stays? That means it has minimal water. See? Now, this guy grew a nice hard edge. We don't really want that necessarily. We're going to fix that. See, I'm going to put in some deeper color here. Just a few bits over here. The darker color. You see, tap, tap, tap. Still very damp, so I'm going to wait a couple minutes before I tap in some more color. And meanwhile, I'm going to clean off my brush. And this had a little cauliflower edge, as we call the hard edge. I'm going to take my brush with a little bit of water and just kind of push that color. Show 'em who's boss. Push that color, see? Clean up my brush. We don't want that cauliflower edge. We want a nice, pretty, clean edge. There. Bye-bye, hard edge. Show you who's boss. Okay, at this point, we're going to wait a little bit because this is so damp now down here. At this point, if you still wanted to add some deeper color, like you can see on this side, it's really kind of dark in this section. You can go ahead and add some deeper color. Little wisps. See, I'm just taking the tip of my brush, making like a wheat wisp with some of the darker color. It's starting to dry, so you can kind of do that. And then see how they're going left and right. I'm going to kind of do that also. They're not staying in one place. See how I'm grabbing? I don't know if you can see this. Up here. The combination of the two. This is burnt umber and the neutral tint. I'm combining the two next to each other. A little more concentrated. And then I'll do those little wisps. And they're going to, some of them are going to, if it's really kind of damp over here, they're going to kind of blend and some will stay. We want some to blend and some to stay. Just like that. And then we can put some more of this dark paint on some of these areas, like over in here. Adding in some concentrated color in a few sections. Oops, see, that's really black. So I'll just take my paper towel, take off that excess paint, I'll go in and I'll add some more brown. All right, we don't want to get too fancy, crazy. I got that Wheatfield. Like I said, you can wisp in. Even when I'm way up here, it's kind of like, see, coming above the horizon line that we created. I did a couple little ones. Maybe you do some over here too. Go way up, just with the tip of your brush. We want them light back there, footloose and fancy free, and we'll get more concentrated and detailed on the front, right? Instead of the party in the back, it's the party in the front. So I'm taking more concentrated paints, see this less and less wet. If you want to put in a little darker color back here, a little bit darker. Now I put a nice little, it's really, really dark. I can just take my brush, clean it off, grab a little bit of water, and kind of bleed that. I wanted it a little bit darker, but I wanted it to bleed also. And then some of it you can actually make it really just dark, concentrated color. Why not? Play around with that. All right. So we're going to let this all dry. And if you still want to go in, I'm going to go in and add a few more little fun guys. Some deeper ones here. It's still damp. You can see it's still kind of bleeding. You can take your brush. Let me zoom in so you can see. And for the wheat, you basically, here's the line of the wheat. We're going to just take the brush and go like this. And it makes the wheat out on the sides, just like that. So that, what I just did, only a bit smaller. If you can try and do in some of these sprays that you made, if they're bleeding too much, don't bother. Wait until they're a little bit dry. It'll just be kind of a nice look to have some that are like blended, like you see here, they're so blurred. There's a couple ways you can do that. So I'm trying to do that. It's still kind of wet on my end to create that blurred wheat. And it doesn't have to be wheat. It can be all kinds of little, you can put all kinds of little doodads in. We're going to try that too when it dries. Like I said, if you want to put in some deeper color, don't be afraid. We have white gouache to go in and play around with, adding in some. See, I'm going to add a real dark color right in here. And I'll take my brush, water it down, and move the paint around a little bit. I want some areas that are really intensified. If that's too much, like I'm doing here, I'm removing it with the paintbrush. Okay, and then this one feels a little bit lighter. Just probably going to do it on this side here. Not too much everywhere. Okay, I'm going to let it dry and we're going to come back. Okay guys, now that it's dry, I'm going to grab the number 4 brush. And we have all these colors mixed up again. And we're going to play around with making the wheat. So I've got that burnt umber, neutral tint together. This time I'm going to use obviously less paint. I'm making like a nice deep brown. I have that over here also. And we can start by just making some really right in your face branches, like right up here. See? Lean downward. And it doesn't have to be all brown, so you can add some of this orange hue color I have here. So it was orange mixed with burnt umber, all that stuff. And then, like I said, we can take the brush and just go on the side, wisp out a little wheat. You see that? I just took the brush, wisp, wisp, wisp. Keep some concentrate in the middle and then go whoosh, right? If you want to get a little bit darker on the bottom, add some dark ones like that. So we got these nice muted ones in the background. We're going to add some real concentrated ones in the front. Again, I'll grab the two browns, make a nice little tiny spray, get a little more brown, gray color, wisp. See that? Now, this is really thin. If you want it thicker wisps, we would use the other brush. There's another one. Or you just take this brush, because it's very skinny, kind of pushing down and making that wheat. See? And then you just do some wisps on top. And I would grab a little of that burnt neutral tint, get a little black kind of color kind of down, and then pull that down like that. Again, see, go over that line we kind of did before. Now, this makes it really skinny. If you want to grab the number 8, and you make those little thicker wisps, look more like wheat, like I showed you, just by pushing down, maybe a little more thicker on top. And then you could take the number 4 and go and make little teeny wisps from that. Grab a little of that neutral tint. I'm just tapping it on the side here to define it. Little wisps. See, that's how we're doing our wisps. So I would use the number 4 brush. You could just make little grasses like that, pull it down, even darker. Make like little thistles. See, I'm gonna kind of tap, 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 tap. Kind of different kind of flowers. Doesn't all have to be wheat. Could be all kinds of fun little grasses that go like this, see? Push down, move it, push down, move down like that. So we changed the whole picture a little bit by adding different elements. See, I just went with that dark color. Like that. I changed it, right? Go back and add some lighter wheat grasses. Again. Make it how you want it to make. You see how I did that? And I'm going to highlight it in a second. So I'm going to go back over here and do the same thing. So we do have those pale ones here. Adding some nice, and I'll wisp the top. Wheat grasses. Wisps. You want some crisscrossing, so it's not boring. It's this wild field like you see in the photograph. But I did change it up. I had some like deep dark grasses. You can do little wheat in the back. See, I've got some little wheat back here. You know, I wouldn't necessarily make the pictures on both sides the same. See, and then you add a little bit of this deep color. Pull it down. Then if you can add that color again, like the grass. So it's similar, but not quite the same. Now we have the spikes way up here. I'm gonna have to pull those down. Put little, I have to water down the paint. Should be really light back here. really light and tiny. There was one back here too. Okay, I'm going to do a few more of these and I'm going to get the white gouache out to show you how to highlight it. Put some more wheat in the front. Real intense wheat. So the dark, dark, dark. The black. Bleeding. And I'll put another one down here. And I'll show you what I mean by the highlighting in a second. Just got a few more little dark ones. Maybe some of those leaves. Play around with it. Okay. Oh my goodness, were you guys not even seeing that? Did I tell you it was not a no bones day? So basically, I was going like this. You saw me, I think. With the little brush, just like the first one. You can kind of add in some deeper color too. But I was just wisping and adding some darker tones, and then you can go back in and grab that dark brown, and you can put in some leaves in here, just like the first one. Okay, I digress. I'm going to add, tip of my brush, on this side, darker browns, highlighting those little wheat. And now I'm going to grab, I have some gouache here, some white gouache. Just water this down a bit. I tap my paper towel, and you just go like little wisps on the side, highlight the wheat. Now I'm going to zoom in, and hopefully I remember to zoom back out. So if you want to mix with a little color so it's not just all white, so it's like cream, you see I'm just kind of wisping on the edge here to highlight. Just highlighting on the edge of these. Same thing over here, just on this one side. If you want it even brighter, add more white. See, and then you go down here. You're highlighting some of the wheat. If you want to mix some of the white with yellow, get in here. And take some of the white gouache and mix it some of the yellow watercolor. I'll have some yellow highlights. See? Just wisping in that. Again, just changes it a little bit. Go back over here so you can see this one. Put a little yellow. So mix a little white gouache with a little yellow. You can put in some little sprays, some yellow highlights so the sun's kind of beating on it. Little sprays in here. Just change it up. Add a little more white. So it's a Wheatfield. It's just a lot different than a typical Wheatfield. Zoom back out. And you know, I see like this kind of space here, it's kind of empty, and I want to just add some little light sprays of grass. You can add some wheat if you want to in there. It's always good to step back. I step back and I see this is like a yellow kind of color, yellow beige. I'll add some more grass back here. You can add a little bit darker ones here and there. Just go play around with adding in some more grasses. Just light yellowish beige color. And then you just highlight a couple of big ones in front. I go back in and add some darker ones. It's always good to have like a couple of really intense looking wheat in the front. See, I'm going to go back in and fix this one. Grab my gouache. Highlight this one. And then you just do some sprays in the background. So I'm adding some wheat sprays back here. And that's it. I mean, simple. I'm gonna lift them up. This tape is easy to lift up. See what we created. And so they're two separate paintings, but they could be one. And if you really, like I said, you really want to get detailed, take the number 4 brush, zoom in again. So this one's kind of dry. You take some of your neutral tint, mix with some of the brown, and you highlight each little kind of like husk, they call it, with the wheat and the stem. And then you can go back in and grab your white gouache and kind of highlight that edge. And then you can go make the little wisps of the end of the wheat. See? Just do a few really concentrated ones. See, I'm going to go back in here and add. Ones that are highlighted. And you can do that by making them darker and then adding the white, beige, yellow kind of tone on the edge. Doop, doop, doop. So I like the gouache. See, on this one it kind of washed out. Just like that. And put a darker one if you want in the front. Anyway, I'm playing around with it a lot. But you get the idea. And I want you guys to play too. That's our Wheatfield. So I hope you enjoyed this mini Monday Madness Wheatfield. You know, have any questions, leave in the comment section. If you wanted to have a little more of that ethereal kind of photography, bokeh kind of look, you kind of take a brush that's not so great, grab some water, you have your paper towel close by, and you kind of pushing it around in a circle and removing, see, tapping and removing some of the paint. That's another way to do it after you've painted it. But I like it the way it is. So, have any questions, leave them in the comment section. I hope you have a better bones day than I've had this morning. And if you don't know what that means, look it up. It's Noodles the poodle. Noodles the pug. Alright guys, thank you guys so much for stopping by my channel. Take time to enjoy, just paint. Don't get stressed out, and have a great day.